Enjoy the following preview of our recent Club GPF live discussion. For the full recording and much more, go to geopoliticalfutures.com/Club GPF.
If Israel and Saudi Arabia make peace, that will change the Middle East. Because, and then that Saudis said, if there is an agreement on a Palestinian state in principle, then they would rebuild Gaza. They said, we will not rebuild it to be destroyed a few years later. Once reconstruction begins, then the Arab-Israeli conflict, which was reduced into the Israel-Palestine conflict, will come to an end, and there would be no longer any obstacles for regional peace. And again, the U.S. and Britain are targeting the Houthis in Yemen. And it seems that the British and the Americans are saying that they have already degraded the Houthis' capabilities to target ships and send drones across the Red Sea into Eilat, or target civilian ships in the Arabian Sea or in the Red Sea. So Iran's proxies are getting the message. They are learning the lesson that the U.S. is determined to put an end to their hostile activities in the region. And they are pulling out. Hezbollah actually has begun to pull out its troops from South Lebanon. So I see a shift against escalation in the region. After Hamas attack, everybody expected a regional conflagration, that the war would expand to cover the entire region. I didn't think this would happen, because the players in the region know their limitations and know how far they can go in dealing with Israel.
When we talk about, when Hilal talks about the Arab world, when I talk about Israel, we talk about internal fragmentation, that every attack is read, one, who was intended to be attacked, Israel, for example, but this makes this guy or that guy happy because it weakens somebody else. Israel used to be a very united country. It will become it again, but is going to go through a very hard time. So the major military power in the region, Israel, is going to become unpredictable. Okay, and it had a high degree of predictability. The major countries in the region, Arab countries, are going to be fighting each other to some extent. Not perhaps high-intensity conflict, but conflict nevertheless. Under these circumstances, making commitments is going to be easy, as Hilal said. Getting anything done will be very, very hard. In the meantime, the United States does not yet have a strategy in the area. It is not clear what resources it's prepared to give, nor what end it wants to see happen. It wants to see the fighting in the Middle East end, and every once in a while it will. This is the Middle East. This is going on. During Desert Storm, the United States went in with the goal of pacifying Iraq. Later, it had to go after 9/11 for another reason. These are wars that don't simply get in to American main power. They may have momentary successes and so on, but in the end, we're still fighting in Iraq, worrying about Iraq. So this requires a deep understanding of the Middle East, which the American public doesn't really want to give or doesn't have. And the Americans, they're all watching what the Americans are going to do. It matters to them, all sides. And the Americans are uncertain of what they're going to do. I'm not clear that there is a rational American strategy in the region, but we're stuck in it. So of all the things we talked about, Israelis, the Arabs, and so on, the Americans also have to make a decision of whether they're going to go in. And if they're going to go in, is it going to be piecemeal, as we did in this bombing attack? Is it going to be rationally structured? This is something also that has to be decided. And I don't think we're going to see it before the elections in the United States, if ever, because we've never really had a fully rational policy in the region. So that's another thing to think. That's how complicated this is.